Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. In this series of videos, we will talk about how to design a form. In this first session, we'll talk about Word itself, MS Word, how we change it to make our life easier throughout the form and design. In this session, we'll talk about the page definition, border definition, styles for our font and paragraph, and pictures and how to insert them correctly. So first of all, we would like to turn on this paragraph mark right here above the shading so we can see our mark in the form. It's just a guidance to know where we are standing in the form itself, every enter, every space between words, every tab, etc. This marks and guides us where we are standing and also shows us where we can do better. In here I can see a lot of gap. The margin is very wasteful and we have spacing between rows. Maybe we want to adjust those. So a few recommendations. After the paragraph mark, we would like to go here to view and turn on our ruler. This way we can know exactly where our margins are for this form and how we want to adjust those. So we go to layout and margins and go to custom. We recommend to put everything on 1 centimeter, least wasteful, more place to work. Potentially a form can be 5 pages instead of 7. So now we can see our text jump to place and we want to adjust the spacing on the text itself. So if we go to styles, every word has its normal. We can modify it. Why we do that? To control once for the whole form. So we'll have a clean slate to work with. It's very tempting to go here to the formatting, but we go here below. Once we click on format, we go to paragraph. We can see that the default of Word is to leave space. We don't want it. If we would like space further along when we design, we can always add it. But for the default, we don't want space at all, just like we mentioned, least wasteful. We press OK. And you can see the rows jumps to place. In the same exact spot in the modify, we would like to adjust the font as well. I would like my whole form to be Calibri. The size I would like is 11. Also for the other language you may have on your computer, 11 as well. We want it to be unified for the whole form. Press OK. What we did here allows us the privilege to mark everything, play with a lot of settings, and then if we don't like it and we want to go back, instead of pressing the arrow again and again and again on every change, we can just press normal and everything will go back to the same settings we declare here. Another thing we want to talk about is header and footer. We go to insert, header, and same here, we want to adjust the margins again just so we'll have a bit more space to work with. And now we can enter our information. Usually in the header we'll insert a picture, a logo of our company, and most of the time we would like some text near it, address, information regarding our workplace, company, etc. But if I will do that and try to align the text, they'll go together. 2 reasons for that. 1, because pictures always have to be on wrap text called inline with text, so the text moves with it. And other, we don't have a way to separate them. So a big tip here is to use a table. If we go to insert, table with 2 columns, I can put my logo in the left column and my information in the right column. Then I can separately, in the layout, control the alignment of where I want my information to be. And so no one will know I use the table. I can also make it transparent. Thanks to the paragraph mark, I can see that I have enter here that I can delete, and another enter, and the last one we can't delete. So a tip here is to just make it on 1 so it's teeny tiny and we can't see it. Another tip regarding the table that's now it's really hard to control, because if I want to move the columns, I need like specifically find the exact border that I can't see. So if I mark the table and go to layout, we have a feature here next to the select called view grid lines. This way I can see transparent tables, but nobody else can when I generate the form. It's just for me, like the paragraph mark. Another thing I want to do here is to adjust my header so the text won't cut on me. Next thing we want to see is the footer. Insert footer as well, and usually we use here to insert our page numbering. So if we go to insert page number and bottom, we have here our number. But another thing we want to do is to make the word count for us. So we can go here to insert, to quick parts, and Word has its own fields. So if I go to field and pick, let's find it together, num pages, and click twice, I have here the counting. So now I can adjust it to be more aesthetically pleasing. And if I use insert page break just to demonstrate the second page, so we can see here that Word has the ability to count the pages. So this is what we do with our first definitions, the styles, the borders, the style for the paragraph separately from the font, the insert of pictures, the insert of tables, and the last thing I want to talk about, let me just delete the page break so we won't have another pages unnecessarily. The last thing I want to talk about called clean copy. Why clean? Because when we build forms, we usually take the information from another source, a website, another PDF, or another Word. So in this demonstration, I'll go to the Docomotion site and pick this paragraph to demonstrate on and copy it. I go back to my designer and paste it. And I can see very clearly that the size of the font itself, the color, and the gap between the rows, it's not what I declared in my normal style, which looks great. This is what I wanted, but there is a cleaner way to do so. Why this is problematic? Once we copy from a source that we don't know, it brings all the information and settings from the behind the scenes with it. So potentially I can bring here tab, like here in the third row. I can potentially bring with it page breaks, section breaks, things that can cause me trouble further along in the process. So we need to clean a copy. How do we do that? Instead of using Ctrl V in the keyboard to paste, we go here in the paste option to keep text only. This brings me only the text, and on top of that, in my normal definition. Now, if I want it to look like so, I can, of course, go and make it gray and bigger, but I need to control it safely. So this way I will not experience problems further ahead. So this was our first session. We saw how to turn on the paragraph mark, ruler, control the margins, the styles, header and footer, and how to copy in a clean way. So thanks everyone for joining me, and we'll see you in the next session. Bye bye.